I'm sure you all have heard that the ATF's coming after pistol braces. I mean, I said last week in a video, they're not just coming after O's honey badger, they're coming after everything. I said that last week. You know, people want to know how we got to this point. I seen it in 20 different comments last night. How do we get to this point? How do we get to this point? We got to this point through compliance. If you allow something to happen that for whatever reason is wrong, whether it be unconstitutional or just it isn't morally correct or it's just somebody being a dickhead, if you let that happen, they're going to keep doing it. It's just like a cheating girlfriend. You catch her cheating once, you need to get rid of her. Because if you don't get rid of her, what's going to happen is she's going to cheat a second time and a third time. And then if you keep letting that shit slide, then she's going to start cheating with multiple people on you at the same time. You let that slide, and it's just all downhill. Government's the same way. Government's the cheating girlfriend. We have allowed so much shit to happen that is, we restrict the government from doing it to begin with. So it's unconstitutional. But people believe now, because enough time has passed that we've allowed this shit to happen. My grandparents let this happen. My parents let this happen. That I call it generational acceptance. Because dad said it was okay, then that's just the way it is. Because dad dealt with it, then that's just the way it is. Well, grandpa allowed it, so it must be constitutional. Well, it's not. I've made multiple videos, and I've said through, I don't even know how many videos, and I'm not sure I'm getting it out in a way for people to be able to understand what I'm saying. The federal government has no authority in the states. Each state is sovereign. But since throughout the history of our country, the people have allowed the federal government to create these unconstitutional laws and then enforce those unconstitutional laws. So much so our governors allow it to happen. Our governors allow the federal government in our states dicking with the people. That now it's, well, they can do that. That's constitutional. It's legal. If the federal government was meant to have national sweeping powers, we would have been the federal state of America from day one. And I've posted links to the anti-federalist papers. Listen to it. What we are seeing today is exactly what they were worried about. It's exactly why they were wanting to stay Confederacy. It's exactly why they didn't want to adopt the Constitution. It's exactly what led to the Bill of Rights. The founders said this will never happen. The federal government can never consolidate all power within itself and rule over the states. It can never happen. Do you know why they said it can never happen? Because the people will take up arms. What the founders didn't count on, though, is that over that same amount of time that all this shit has been allowed, the people would become pussies. They would think that their life is more important than their rights. You know, the whole is never more important than the individual, except in one case. The only case the whole is more important than the individuals when it comes to rights. That's it. And if it means you going to prison, you being fined, you dying to protect those rights, that's a choice for you to make where you stand. And if your freedom is too important, if your life is too important, I would suggest that you quit exercising the rights that you are taking advantage of, because that's what you're doing. You're taking advantage of what you have for now, and you're losing it for your kids. You know, the excuse for the people are going to have for following this bullshit that the ATF's putting out right now, here's going to be their excuse. I guarantee it, this is going to be the excuse. Well, it's only $5, freedom. It's just a $5 tax. What's the big deal? It wouldn't matter if it was 5 cents or $5,000. It's not going to stop until you stop it. Until you take a stand and you say, you know what, ATF, it's not going to stop. And it's probably not going to stop with you, even if you do that. Sorry about that. it's probably not going to stop with you. Yeah, there's a chance you're probably going to go to jail. You know why? Because your governor's a piece of shit. Because your neighbors won't protect you. Because people don't know what rights are. Because people don't understand how our government's supposed to operate. But where's your line? Like, you have to have a line as a human, as a man. As an example, as a man, where's your line at when dealing with other men? Meaning, are you going to let them talk to you? Are you going to let them talk down to you? At what point are you going to start swinging? Is it after they talk down to you? Is it once they call you a bitch? Is it once they spit in your face? Is it once they hit you? Is it once that they steal from you? Is it once that they take your, is it once that they take what is in you that can't be given back? Because that's what our government's doing. And it's not going to fucking stop. It's not going to end at pistol braces. It's not going to end with the ARs. They are coming for everything. And it might not happen in my lifetime, and it might not happen in your lifetime, but it's damn sure going to happen in our kids' lifetimes. I don't want my kids fighting. Not because my kids won't fight, but because they're going to be out there in the middle of a field all alone. Because with each generation, there's more and more pussies that, that come about somehow. We've become a nation of fat, lazy, ignorant people. And it's time that we put a stop to it. And the only way we're going to put a stop to the ATF doing their bullshit is to, at this point, is two things. Either A, you man up, grab your balls, put on your gear, and go fight. Best ideal? Nah, probably not. Because you're going to be out there probably by yourself. Might just be me and you. I don't know. And there's not going to be many of us. Or, number two, you get on the phone and call your governor's office. And I don't care what you got to do. If you got to make an appointment, it took me 3 months to get an appointment with my governor. Hold on, I'll get back to calling the governor. It took me 3 months of, listen, I was harassing them bitches. I'm not shitting you when I say I was harassing them. I was calling them 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I was calling, trying to make an appointment. I harassed them until they got sick of hearing me. And then Mike DeWine, this is when Mike DeWine first got elected. Then I was supposed to meet with him. I made it very clear. I want you to sit down with the governor of my state. All right, Mr. We'll do that. I go there, and it's his constituent liaison. I asked a question over 2 years ago, sitting in front of Mike DeWine's constituent liaison, that still hasn't been answered to this day. And I flat out told him then, you need to quit letting the feds in our state. The feds coming into our state and enforcing these unconstitutional laws that the feds have created is a violation of my rights. It's a violation of the 10th Amendment. But see, government had, we've been lied to. Our whole lives we've been lied to about everything. Like it or not, we've been lied to. Abraham Lincoln was not a savior. He made us all slaves. He didn't free any slaves. He made us all slaves. But back to calling your governor. You need to call your governor and tell them, quit letting the feds into my state. You're violating our rights. You're violating the 10th Amendment. The federal government has jurisdiction and authority over lands that the federal government has legally purchased from the states in order to fulfill its duty to the people. That's it. If it's not a military magazine or a military base or Washington, D.C., the federal government has no authority. Not even fucking Congress. If Congress had the authority to pass national sweeping laws or the jurisdiction, we wouldn't have state government. And that's what we're leading to. Eventually, we're not going to have state government. The feds are going to create all the laws and do what the fuck they want. And we'll be policed by a federal police force. Now, I'm a realist. Like, I truly am. I can sit here all day and bullshit you and say, you know what? This is going to happen, and people are going to do this, and people are going to take a stand, but they're not. They're probably not going to. Because it's just $5. And that's going to be their excuse. Just like with the bump stocks. When it was bump stocks, it's like, oh, who cares about a piece of plastic, blah, 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 blah. Did I give a shit about bump stocks? Personally? No. Could care less. But you know what? I seen the dangers in what was about to happen. I seen the problem with it. Because if you've learned anything in your lifetime about government, the one thing that you should have definitely learned and stuck in your fucking brain is that if you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. And what people don't understand is all governments throughout history, every single last government throughout history has become tyrannical. I challenge you to find one that wasn't. Our government, the people, the men that founded the country, that created the government, told us, and not these exact words, but government is your enemy. Government is the people's enemy. It's the people's duty to keep that government in check. But, as I said, when our grandparents and great-grandparents and parents became pussified, and they allowed the government to do whatever it wanted. And what government did was it created laws to be enforced by their enforcement arm, the police, that made it illegal for us to enforce our Constitution. Once that happened, that hill goes from being a minor grade to a fucking cliff. And you're going off of it. If you didn't draw your line, I don't know how old you all are that are watching this. I don't know if you were alive for the 1968 Gun Control Act. I don't know if you were alive for the 84 Hughes Amendment, the 94 ban. It doesn't matter. You're alive today. If you don't stand your ground, you and I are going to go down as the generation in the history of this country. We're going to go down as a stain in history. The founders are remembered as the greatest generation of all. They're the generation responsible for what freedom we do have. Could you imagine if we were really free? You believe we're free. We're not. Being free is where I can do whatever I want. There's no limitations on what I do except your rights and property. That's it. As long as I'm not violating your rights or destroying your property, I can do whatever I want. That is freedom. Freedom is not being robbed for your money at the barrel of a government gun. And we are. The productive are robbed. We're robbed to ensure the survival of the unproductive. The reason for that is because those people are justification. I'm a firm believer in every life matters. Except when you don't care about your own life. If you don't care enough about your life to ensure your own survival, I ain't got nothing for you. What government does is, this is how all socialist societies throughout history have started. They make the productive at the end of a barrel of a gun ensure the survival of the unproductive. 80% of all crime can be directly linked to the lowest 20% on the socioeconomic scale. So the people that make the 20% on the lowest 20% when it comes to how much money, how much income they have, how much money they have, what kind of assets they have, the lowest 20% commits 80% of the crime. So by ensuring their survival, they then commit the crime, which then government uses to justify the force to supposedly stop criminals. Are you a criminal? Does your pistol brace make you a criminal? If you had a full auto, if full autos were produced today, you could go buy one right now, would you become a mass murderer? No, you wouldn't. Freedom isn't fucking judging me by what other people do. Freedom isn't pulling some minority report shit because of what I could possibly do. That's not freedom. Freedom is not being ruled by the government that I have the authority over. Government's not supposed to tell us what to do. Government is supposed to do what we tell it to do. And then when it doesn't, we're supposed to back up what we tell it to do with force. Read every journal entry. Read the Federalist Papers. In almost every other essay, it's the people will pick up arms. What, do you think that they thought we were just going to pick up guns and go walking around toting our Trump flags and shit? Stop it, BLM. If BLM is your worst fucking enemy, you got your eyes closed to the world, man. You got blinders on to the world. I can deal with BLM. I got something for them. If the fucking police force would stay the hell out of my way. But no, you know what? If I protect my life and my property from them stupid fucks, the government, the enforcement arm of government, the police, will arrest me. So they stop me from doing what is right, what is moral, what I have the natural right to do with the threat of force and violence. And if they can't do it on their own, they'll call their buddies over. If their buddies can't do it with them, fuck, they'll call the next department over. And they know they can do that because they know you are not going to stand beside me. They know it's just me. How many criminals have we seen on the 11 o'clock news that weren't criminals at all? That were actually true fucking patriots fighting for what was right. They passed them off as criminals because they shot at the cops. The men that founded this country shot the police in the fucking face. Yes, the redcoats were the British police. They were the police, the policing arm of the government at that time. The policing arm of King George. Yes, they were. The founders shot them fuckers in the face. What makes you think that they would create a country and allow the same shit to be formed, the same standing army to be formed? They warned us about standing armies over and over and over and over again. That's why we're supposed to police ourselves, the community, the people. And somebody's going to say, well, the police agency, those people are part of the community too. We just pay them as a job. They can't just do, they couldn't just do it. You silly motherfucker, when it's a job, when they work for the government, they are no longer they're no longer the people. They are then the government. If a cop needs to roll around with a gun on every day, guess what? So do you. You as a citizen deal with more violent people in a day than that cop does in a month. You walk by more people that will cut your head off right now than that cop will in a month. But they carry a gun. Why? Because they've justified it. We've accepted it. They've thrown some sugar on it and made us eat it. But you better get a permit. You better ask government if you can exercise your rights. And if you don't, government created a law that says they can cage you. And if you don't comply, they can kill you. Tell me I'm bullshitting, and I'm not. It happens all the time. There's been plenty of people that have been mowed down by the cops, then passed off as criminals for doing the right thing. I would rather see 10 guilty people let go than one innocent man go to jail or charged for a crime that's not a crime. And the people are so fucking stupid. We can stop the vast majority of this shit by jury nullification. Find everybody not guilty. But you know what? That won't happen. Why? Because the people are ignorant. They don't know the laws. Fuck, they don't even know what their own rights are. Ask the next person that calls themselves a patriot what a right is. I'm sorry about the rant, y'all. I'm burnt out, man. Like, I've shied away from even making videos about this shit because I'm so burnt out about talking to it. Either we're going to get off our asses and we're going to fucking do something, or fuck, I'll start making Lego videos. I don't want to make Lego videos, guys. I don't want to make any videos. To be honest with you, I didn't start a YouTube channel to gain popularity. I started a YouTube channel to create a community. But it's slow. It's hard. It takes time. It costs money. I can't help you if you're in fucking Oregon where I'm at. Now, you can call me and I can be there in fucking 30 hours. But I don't know if you can hold them off for 30 hours. But if we were all neighbors, if this street right here, these 15, 20 houses, whatever it is, if we were all neighbors and we all said, you know what? We are done. a little sign at the end of the road, no trespassing. This means anybody, even if you think you got a golden pass, it's called a badge. Stay away. And they know that. They know that I'm the only person on this street that's going to resist in any form at all. They know that you are too. I don't lie to myself and think like I'm in hiding and shit. Fuck, I put everything out there intentionally. I just kind of look at it like, you know what? If I put it all out there, then they ain't got to go looking for shit. I don't do nothing. But I know, just because of my words, because of what I say, that it's only a matter of time before that front door gets kicked in at 5 o'clock in the morning. 7:30 in the morning. I know it's coming. It's just a matter of time. And we can stop that together, all of us. Not just you and me, but all of us would have to stop it. We'd have to take a stand and say, no, we are fucking done. So where is your line? I want you to sit down today and think about this. If freedom walked up to me, what would I allow to happen before I struck back? Will I let him call me a pussy? Will I let him talk to me like I'm his bitch? Will I let him smack me? Or spit in his face? Or spit in my face? Which I would never do some stupid shit like any of that. I'd punch you in the mouth before I did any of that shit. And if your line is, well, you know what, I'll let you kind of talk crazy to me, but once you violate my rights in some way, I'm going to start swinging, don't treat government any different. You draw that line and you take that stand. I can't even draw a fucking line. They done stepped over my line forever ago. I just didn't realize it until a couple of years ago. I'm not drawing another one. Like I said, I fit way better in a box than I do in a cage.